Do you believe that a business mindset is something that can be taught to your kids? If you do not have a business mindset, would it be possible for you to teach it? Can you learn business mindset from a school when you take a business course? In today's episode, I'll share with you 3 tips to develop a business mindset for your kids. Hi, welcome to Mami Negosyo's Business Tips number 47. And let's learn these 3 tips from a story. It's well known to those who know me that I teach using stories. This is because lessons are more likely to stick with people when they are told through stories. And this is the difference between learning from a college professor and a business mentor. A college professor is someone who has an MBA and maybe a PhD, but who hasn't had much practical experience as a business owner. Mentors, however, they have stories to back up their lessons because they experience the lessons themselves, or they have met mentees who have been there as well. So here's the story. Some time ago, I talked to a 26-year-old lady that I met through my son. Let's call her Jade. This is not her real name. Jade was telling me about her business success, and she just started with 500 pesos capital. How did she do it? I'll tell you later. Now, Jade is a college graduate who worked for less than 2 years in a marketing company. After her graduation, even if her mom had her own furniture store, she did not want her to come home to help in the family business. Get at least 2 years of experience working for others first, Jade's mother advised her. And so she did. And she learned many things from that marketing company that she was able to apply in her business. So, the first tip is let your kid work for others first. They can learn what others know, and that can be the value that she can add to your business. That was also our advice for our own children. After graduation, work for others for at least 2 years. But most of my kids stayed longer and now they're running our businesses. Each of them has been introducing a lot more ideas than what me and my husband can ever think of. When did we inject this idea to them? Even when they were small kids. We already told them how much freedom we're enjoying by being business owners rather than by being employees. But we also emphasized to them how much we learned from our employers that we're able to apply to our businesses. Do you see a tip from what I said? Okay, so the second tip is to talk about positive ideas about business versus employment in ordinary, everyday conversation with your children. This will be ingrained in their young minds. I learned this lesson one day when my third daughter was in high school. One day she asked me, "Why are you and Papa always talking about hiring and firing people?" It was then that I realized that by doing that in front of our kids, we were unknowingly giving them the impression that business is about hiring and firing people, which is of course not true. Since then, we made it a point to clarify any business topics that we discuss at the dining table. This was what happened to one of my mentees. She's a single mom, and after her husband left her for another woman, she started a new life. She opened the carinderia to be able to have a good life for her and her daughter. Because life was difficult, she would talk to her daughter every day. She would talk about how difficult life was, how tiring it was to make her businesses work, how problematic the employees were, and how rude some customers are. Now, her daughter is going to college and she says she wants to be a nurse or to be a flight attendant so she can go abroad. And when she asked her daughter why she doesn't want to stay in the Philippines and manage the carinderia business, her daughter replied, "I don't want to live the life that you live." She was very surprised because by then her carinderia has turned into the best fast food restaurant in her province. She was already able to put up an inn of 40 rooms that had a good occupancy rate. Now, from nothing, she was able to build a comfortable home for herself and her daughter. They have a car and they've been traveling around different cities in Asia every year. She felt very sad that her daughter was not interested in the business that she was going to turn over to her for her to manage. And she was also hurt that her daughter did not appreciate the successful business that she had worked so hard for in the last few years of her life. So I asked her, between the negative and the positive aspects of the business, which of these have you talked to her more about? That question shocked her. She realized that she has always assumed that her daughter understood how much the business has contributed to their comfortable lifestyle. She realized that she never once praised her business in front of her daughter, and that all she heard were the negative stories about it. If only she can turn back the time, she thought. Now, since then, she has learned to shut her mouth when she has something negative to say about her business and to always talk about how good business is versus employment. She talked about the financial freedom of being able to earn what you want instead of depending on a fixed salary. She described the time and location freedom she was enjoying and how she could choose to take vacations whenever she wants. She painted a picture of her plans for her business and the possibilities of growing it. I hope the daughter changed her mind. Now, for the last tip, let me go back to Jade. As I mentioned, Jade's mom had a furniture store. That was Jade's playground when she was a kid. Growing up, she'd see how the furniture was designed, what colors went with what colors, and what were the types of upholstery, textures, and the uses of those types. So one day she was working here in Manila, and her mom back in the province asked her to buy a certain type of upholstery. When she went to the store, she fell in love with a certain piece of printed fabric and bought some herself for 500 pesos. When she brought it home, she took a photo of it as part of her decor and she discovered that her friends like it. So she cut it into four and sold it on her Facebook account. It was sold right away for four times its price. So she bought more the next time and did the same. She was only doing this at night as she had a day job. As she bought more and more, she also posted on Instagram and later opened a Shopee store. When she could no longer have the time to work on her business, she finally resigned from her work and focused on it full time. So from 500 pesos, she now owns a warehouse that has more than 10 resellers working for her. What's the tip for this story? It's all about letting your kid play in your work and business area. Exposing them is better than teaching them. Those are the three tips to develop a business mindset for your kids. This is Mommy N, your Mommy Negosyo, saying be business minded. See you in the next video.